Okay, I'm going to do a video on some of our manual lathe projects here at STC, and we're going to work on how to do a lathe boring operation. So we're going to machine this part here, 1.475 diameter, 1.25 long. So I'm actually, this is a sample part, and I'm going to use this for my demo. So I'm going to need a turning tool here. I'm going to need a cutoff tool to cut it off, and I'm going to use a boring bar here. Right? So that's a 55-degree turning tool, and or we can use the carbide insert tools here. So it says right here, use 1.5" aluminum round stock solder 2.75. We call this a chucking operation because this material is actually too big to fit through the drawbar. Normally we try to use material and just pull it to length. In this case we have to cut it off, and we have to use a piece that was going to be discarded. So in this case we're going to use, let's see, 1.25 plus some extra material. This is about 5 inches long, probably a little bit on the long side, but I think for the demonstration purposes this will work out fine. Okay, let me put my hat on. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is chuck this up. I got my 3-jaw chuck. Turn my light on. And right there. Well, actually, I can actually get it inside, so that's pretty good. So I can use this piece without cutting it. So I'm going to get this, and I'm going to keep my print near me. Okay. So I put my print over here, and it won't get messy. Alright, so I need about enough to be able to cut this out. So I said suggested 2.75. That's more than enough. Alright, so I'm going to chuck this up, make it tight, put it away. So in reality we're actually machining it like from this point of view. Okay. Let's get our turning tool. Let's set this in here. I'm going to just double check my height. These insert tools that CNC lathe uses are very good tools to go in both directions. Alright, so I'm going to say that's a little bit on the high side. I'm going to turn this and lower it a little bit. Alright, let's call this the pinch. This is what my instructor showed me many years ago. If it's tilted forward, it's too high. I'll lower this down just a little bit. Pinch it, but don't break the carbide. Alright, I'm going to accept that. I'm going to make sure this compound is tight, and I'm going to do a turning and a face cut. So, power up. I'm going to pick an RPM. I'm going to go with 915 to start. Alright, looks pretty good, chewing up. I'm going to chew the front, always face and turn. I'm going to touch off in the front. Right there, pull it back. I'm going to go in a little bit and face the front. And I can actually see if my level is okay or not. I'm going to call this Z0. I'm going to put this to 0 and move this away. So I'll show you why I'm doing that. Now I'm going to touch the outside. Get my light over there. Alright, I'm touching the outside. I'm going to chew this side up. I'm going to go in a little bit. Now I'm going to make this X0 for now. Right. X is diameter. I'm going to go this direction. But I want a part that's 1.25 long. So I'm actually going to go in this direction until I get to 1.5. I'm going to have enough be able to cut off the part. So I'm gonna set it as a visual stop right there. So I got a visual mark right now. I could also utilize this stop here, and I could use that to my advantage. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna go back without moving, and I'm gonna measure this. So I need to get my caliper, which I should have had with me. All right. Digital versus dial calipers. Digital easy to read, but dial easy to learn. Okay. All right. Turn it on, zero it out, make sure that's clean. All right, clean. I'm going to measure this diameter, so when I'm in the lathe, you want to get these flat parts right on here and not be crooked. So usually the problem is people tilt this way, and when the issue is really this. I'm exaggerating right now. So I'm going to look down the side. I need to turn this light off. And I'm actually going to hold with my fingers here. And I'm getting 1.565, 1.57. All right. Measure twice, cut once. I'm going to go do it again. Wiggle, just wiggle it. I'm going to round it up to 1.57, okay? Now, why I like dial calipers is zero it out, right, make sure it's in zero. I always watch how it bottoms out. So if I wiggle this wherever it's the lowest, if it's up there, too high, I wiggle this, and right there, it's 56, 57, somewhere around there. I'm not really concerned about this part right now. I want to know what this dial says. I'm going to say 56, and you don't want to pull it off and measure because it's going to move. So you want to get that in place. 56. Pull it off and then read the rest. So it's 1.456, which is the same number I was getting there. So I think these are very good for beginners, but digital is easy to read. So 456. So this was undersized already, probably why I was over in the pile. So I'm going to just pick a different number for now for demonstration purposes. I'm going to go to 1.400 on the outside diameter. So I could do this two different ways. One is to figure out the difference between there. That would be 1.456, so it'd be 56 thousandths are going to take off, or I can reset. I like using this reset command at X, asking me what diameter do I want. One, clear, 1.456, enter. So now I'm just going to shoot right for the number. Okay. Power up. Back where I'm at. And I'm not going to do it all in one cut. I'm going to go like, I'm going to try 425. And this time I'm actually going to try power feed. Bottom shaft is on, so I have power feed. And we actually want to learn how to do power feed. You got two knobs here. This is for the threading, that's the half nut. You don't want to use that one. And if I pull this one, I'm going to do it out here. See, it's going to the left now. That's on, that's off. You want to adjust this out before you do it. What's this lever do? Doesn't do anything. Let's pull on this one. Oh, that goes that way. That's not what we want. So we want to put it back to where we had it. 1.456. Alright, so if I want a power feed, I want to have this in. That in. And I'm going to try 425. And I'm going to power feed. Now this will not stop it. You have to disconnect if you're trying to use this. I like keeping my hand here that's just as a mental reminder. Pull and let it go. Alright. Chips are breaking pretty good. That's a nice thing about the carbide insert. If you're doing steel, you might get hot here, you might need a shield. And I'm actually watching the finish line, so I'm going to disconnect and take it in by hand. And bring it to the finish line, right there. Alright, still on 425, so I'm going to bring it back and finish is decent. I probably want to put some lube on that. Alright, let's check measurement. Measure twice, cut once. Let's see if we're on target. 425, right on, okay. I think we can go right to the finish. I'm going to grab some lube here. A little bit on there, a little bit on here. Alright. Power up. Put on 1.400. Or if you want to cheat it a little bit, if you're on the plus side, you can't put metal back, but it'll still be in tolerance. Let's go for it. I feel good about this. All right. Power on. Looks good. I think this is a better finish this time. All right, I'm going to disconnect, or I can do the brake method. I'm going to hit the brake. Stop right there. Okay. All right. So this finish, you don't want to drag across the finish. So I'm actually going to pull this away and disconnect the power feed. Now I can measure this, right? Don't have your tools up here. Try to keep this area clean. 400, right on. Okay. All right, so the next thing is center drill and pre-drill using a number 3 drill, 1.45 deep, so that we are deep enough, and when we cut this off, we'll have a hole. So we're going to pre-drill, and I'm going to drill 531, because that should be plus or minus 5, and the surface finish is 63, so the drill will be acceptable. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. Got drill chuck, we need center drill and drill. So I got my center drills here. I'll pull out the big one here. Got to get 213 drill, but not important to have the exact drill size. This 221 drill would be fine. Looks like it hasn't been used. All right, we got to pre-drill and drill. I'm going to leave this up here. Truck this up. All right. Push this forward. Lock the tailstock down. I'm going to stick with the same RPM, and I'm going to bring my lube cup up here and wet the tip. Okay. Going forward. And touch in, right? Going to peck drill in a little bit. Peck drill till I get that little cone right there. A little bit of a cone. That'll catch the next drill. Alright. That looks good. Alright. Pull this back. Swap drills. So this is called pilot drilling, and it makes it easier for the second drill. Alright, so this time we want to pay attention to measurement. So this is in thousandths, and it starts at 20, 10, and ends at 100. So each revolution is 100. So what I'm going to do is just put it in so the big part of the flutes are about even with the front, and lock down the table. So my plan is to go beyond 1.25, so I'm going to go like 1.4, which would be 14 turns. Right. Okay, lube up. All right, so this is 100 thousandths, 200 thousandths, 300, 400, 500. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move it up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back where it was. That would be 600, 700, 800. Still feels pretty good. 900. I think I'll redo it. 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or however you want to do it. That's the original right there. Clean the drill off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 was where I left off. 10, 11, and I think I'm going to just do 11 and a half. Feels like it's getting a little tougher in there. Plus we're starting to cover up the drill. Alright, that's original. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There, that's 12. That is 13. That is 14. It's getting a little tougher now. 14. Gonna bring it out again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So let's go all the way to 15. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and one more revolution. That's it. Alright, that's pulled out. Pull this out. I'm going to pull this back. Hit the brake. Get the chips off the drill. I'm all done with these two. So I'm going to stop here and we'll carry on with part 2.